And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, high elves, dark elves, all you lizard men that like to chill in the sewer saying cowabunga while eating some beautiful, beautiful pizza. Come on over, come on over. We're going to minimize the pleasantries for today. We have so much to go over. We have the deets on how to get all the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the -1 characters we're going to discuss here. Some interesting new player stuff going on revolving Donatello. I also want to go over the kits for these guys as well. So we got tons to do, my friends. So sit back, relax, hit that like button, whatever you got to do to have a good time around here. Grab yourself, I don't know, whatever brew, XP brews, whether you're a Void, Force, Spirit Champion, I don't care. We're going to talk about something that came on my radar here regarding new players. And I'm not just talking about, obviously, my link down below, my QR code. If you're a new player, an incredibly interesting time to be starting up a new Raid Shadow Legends account, not just because I have like the best giveaway code with a free legendary, Tagore, Ugos, Deacon Armstrong, some of the best epics you can get in this game, something more beyond that. So again, as far as I can tell, this is for new players, not just my link and QR code, but you can get Donatello, I don't think I could say for free, you can get a guaranteed Donatello for a brand new account. Now, for everyone else out there, we're doing a champion fragment event. I'm already in the whole running of it. We're going to talk about all these events in a moment. So we don't have these options for most people out there. But if you're starting a new account or you're considering starting one, apparently there's a guaranteed Donatello for 10 sacred shards for new players. Like, it's not a promo code either. It's a specific boosted, it's a guaranteed champion event for new accounts. And as you can see, it's a new account here, and I'm assuming that this 2x event that's going on, when you start up a new Raid Shadow Legends account, you get this kind of, right here. As a new player, surprise, 2x boosted summons have become activated in your accounts. Within your first 24 hours or whatever, you get a boosted 2x drop. That's one of the most explosive times to either spend money as a new player when you're first starting up. They want to get you sacred shards, 2x them, get legendaries into your account. There are some free ways of getting some sacred shards in your first 24 hours or so of starting a new account. However, to get 10, even in a week, it's going to be kind of challenging. So, if you pull up the game real quick, a lot of you guys know I'm preaching to the choir here. But for those that maybe aren't too familiar, when you're starting Raid Shadow Legends, your first big thing is you want to make a big push in your campaign. Because especially once you get the hard mode, you get sacred shards. If you can push even farther, the brutal, you get another sacred shard. There are also sacred shards associated with the Arbiter missions, which I have already completed, but you can also pick up sacred shards along that way. So, ignoring Donatello for a second, that's why it's really important in your first new account. You're blitzing through all those things, so you can try to take advantage of this 2x boost that you get for legendaries and get some good champions right away, right? Well, the Donatello thing's kind of just a sugar on top thing, but to get the 10, even in a week, you're going to need to spend a few dollars. So although you can probably get about 4 or 6 sacred shards pretty quickly through all the different missions that they have, you're still going to be short about 4. So you will need to find Grandma's 3 wacky numbers to buy a few more sacred shards. But something to consider if you are a new player, and keep in mind, on top of the link, maybe take advantage of this Donatello Guaranteed Champion. This still means you can also have a promo code of some sort. So whether you want to use, let's say, Monkey King for Sun Wukong, maybe you want to use, for example, I don't know, Gary, hit me with another one here, Demon Slayer. For my boy, where's he at? I've been having a lot of fun with him. I've been using him inside the Ice Golem, Tatholan, and Falbeard. You have a lot of different options at your disposal. Go do some promo code research out there. So interesting things that we have going on. But let's talk about the other ways of getting a hold of these Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So here's what we have. We have some deets on how to access all of these. And how difficult it's going to be for people to get it? Well, it's going to kind of range on where you are in the game and how much stuff you have hoarded up, more importantly. So obviously, Michelangelo, we all know, I love when they do this. We have a free Michelangelo chase going on right now. You just got to log in for 7 days. Last day to activate this would be October 30th. You get a free Michelangelo. We're going to go over the kits again in a moment. Extremely excited to take a closer look at them. So that you got a free champion. Easiest thing, no problemo. The Donatello is going to be a fragment event that we have going on right now that's only around for 2 weeks. So from today or yesterday until the September 3rd, you can get Donatello. So, all right, pretty easy. But what about the others? How do I get, Leonardo, Raphael, April, and Shredder? Well, here's what we have. For Leonardo, this is where, when we talk about my strategy to keep in mind, as you're preparing, if you're like me, I want to get all the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We need to kind of be cognizant of this Deck of Fate and Path event. But Leonardo is going to be on a Swordmaster's Path event, so a hero's path basically, where you collect hero coins, and likely you are going to need to summon characters. Usually it's farm artifacts, but also open up shards. You get points for it. And that's how you're going to get Leonardo and his 5-star Perfect Soul. I'm very much so expecting this to be just like Packmaster Shrek's, as well as the Throat Ripper event that we just had for the Red Star for Throat Ripper and the Packmaster Shrek. I'm guessing it's going to be something like that. So I'm expecting this to be a very, very, very shard-intensive path event. You know, maybe they'll adjust the numbers. It'll be a lot nicer. And again, should you be going for it? I'm going for Leonardo because I just want all the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I want to relive my childhood. That's how they get. They look, all right. These people, they got a couple dollars. They have their grandmas. All right, what do they like? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? All right, well, oh yeah, let's see how much they want to spend on that. Raphael is going to be a Deck of Fate event from October 13th through 16th. So this is a bit down the road more. Don't got to worry too much about it. You're going to flip cards. You can summon them through a fragment there. Usually Deck of Fates, most of the time, as far as I can really think of right now, it's a soul opening event. So usually I like doing them. You know, there's generally a 2x or something for the altar souls, and then there's a Deck of Fate. Cool. You're kind of double dipping, right? You're getting a guaranteed champion and you're getting souls. All good stuff, but we have time for that. Don't got to worry too much about that. But I believe you can also, there's a slim chicken chance you can actually summon like Leonardo and Raphael just through shards, and albeit kind of tough to hit that probability. And then in April, she's going to have a Titan event from October 6th through 23rd. So we got plenty of time before we get there. You'll also get some other goodies besides her, new relics, skill tombs, and more. There is something going on right now. If you're someone that's like me and you want to get all of the champions, you might see right now that we have a boosted drop, 10x chance from Sacreds to get April. Now, at first I was like, oh man, I guess I got to go all in right now. No. You'll be able to get her later on during the Titan event, which is basically like another mini Fragment fusion event. Essentially, a bunch of tournaments you got to do and whatnot. So if you're like me, don't worry about going too hard on the Sacreds or any shard openings for now. And then there's one other character that's not on the menu. We don't know how Shredder is going to be accessible, so I don't know if it's going to be sort of like, well, he's not a mythical, but Corrosa, where it was like exclusively a small chance of getting her through a mythical shard or primal shard. Hopefully not like that. So we don't know the deets on that, but kind of as expected, someone's going to get a Hero's Path, someone's going to get Deck of Fate, someone's going to get, you know, the freebie. Shredder, I got a feeling they're trying to hold the big stuff for him. And before we talk about all the kid stuff, I want to make sure we talk about the strategy. Because if you're someone like me that wants to get all these Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the number one thing you're going to have to keep in mind, budgeting your shards out, especially if you're on a limited budget now. I got grandma. If I'm like, grandma, look, don't you want me to have one of these? She's going to spot me. Maybe. Potentially. She's already taken a lot of money out of her retirement, but I digress. You, for this Leonardo event, no, Donatello, I apologize. Donatello. In total, there are 130 fragments you can get. However, 20 of them are from if you're going to place high in the tournament leaderboards for the champion chase that we have now, as well as the champion tournament later on. So ignoring those, let's just say you're not placing on the leaderboard, you only have room for 10 fragments to skip. My suggestion is, and again, everyone's going to have a little bit different. Maybe you'll have more energy, maybe you'll have more shards. It depends what you want to part with, but I'm going to explain why. I'm going to try to convince you guys to try to save on shards as much as possible, especially sacred shards. Well, we're taking a look at all this. I would suggest that you're going to probably want to not push extremely hard on either the champion chase or the summon rush. That's where I would suggest you skipping out on your 10 fragments. And unless, again, if you're assuming you're going to make up on the scoreboard, like I'm probably going to push hard on champion training term. I have a lot of champions I want to book up, so I might place on the leaderboard for that specifically. But otherwise, I would recommend saving your sacreds or shards in general. But what does that mean? Well, that means you're going to have to go hard on the dungeons, you know, the gear enhancements. I'm fine with that, right? I never have a problem with gear enhancement stuff. You know, same thing at the, what's it called? The classic arena, even the dungeons. Like right now, we got an ice golem stuff going on. I have no problem with that. So I'm going to try to not go too balls to the walls when it comes to opening up my shards. We also have, I'll leave a link down below to this tracker sheet. So if you want to kind of get a loose game plan on how to approach this, here's a little copy that I made of the spreadsheet, kind of showing, you know, my loose logic of all this here, where it depends, again, where you want to cut, whether it's the champion chase or the summon rush is where you're going to want to cut off. Like, for example, right now, I have it where I'm just going to skip out on the extra 10 for the summon rush that's coming on August 29th. And as you can see, I'm still in the running. I'll get all 100 shards total, but pretty much everything else I'm going for. And I also assume I'm not making first place. You know, we're not going to make first place for the champion chase. We're not going to make first place for the champion training tournament. However, I'm considering, just because I have so many champs, like I want to book up my Wixwell. I got a couple other ones. I've just been sitting on books for months now. I might go a little hard on that, and who knows, I'll maybe get first place. And as you can see, I'll have a 10 budget extra, so maybe I can completely skip out on a summon rush or something like that. But again, you got to kind of wait and see where you actually place. You know, you don't know how many other thirsty turtle people you got out there that also are going to be pushing pretty hard. So something to keep in mind. Highly recommend you use this to kind of get a loose game plan where you want to skip out on. But the reason why I recommend maybe trying to save on shards, don't go too hard for the champion chase, the summon rush, is specifically when we take a look at the in-game events. I think this Leonardo event is going to be very expensive on your shards. When we saw the Throat Ripper / Packmaster Shrek event that just happened recently, just to get Throat Ripper, that was 14 sacred shards. And if you want to go for the other one, it's basically like another 14, 16 of those. So you would need to, like, somewhere in the ballpark. If you want a Leonardo and the Soul, again, we're making assumptions, and you know what happens, and you make an assumption. You make a you-know-what out of you and me. I'm guessing if you want the full package, you might be looking at like 30 sacred shards, something crazy like that. So, and again, the good news is you still have over a month before that happens, so we got time. Don't got to worry too much about it, but, just something to keep in mind. This is a good time. You have about a month and a half leeway to be stock up as many sacred shards as possible. You see some good deals? Grab them. If you don't need to spend the sacred shards, maybe hold off on them. And I know it's kind of tempting because we got the 2x right now for the sacred shards, and I'm a sucker for 2x chance of legendary champion. So I just got to know, let's not empty out the whole entire arsenal right now, okay? Okay. All right. But with all that in mind, are these champions worth going for? Now, everyone's gonna have a different reason for going for them. I'm mostly doing it for sentimental reasons. I wasn't like the biggest TMNT fan, but I remember so many days, Saturday mornings, watching cartoons with my cousins at my grandma's house. We got the glowing, we got like the light up when you run. The shoes would light up, Power Ranger shoes. Life was good back then. So I'm mostly doing it for childhood purposes, but some of these champions look really darn good. And if you guys don't mind, if you got time to spare, we're gonna take a look at the kit reveals for all of these champions. And again, maybe you're gonna be like, I don't want all of them. I want them all. Like, I really legit want to go for all of these champions for once. Usually I'm like, if I get some, I get some. No, I'm actively going for all of them. So we're gonna take a look at it. But keep something to keep in mind. If you're looking just from an efficiency standpoint, there might be some champions to skip out, whether for resource purposes or you're just not too into the kit overall. Oh, I forgot to mention as well, we got a little bit of time dungeon. Pinpoints being replaced with the chronophage. I think that's how you say it. Where you get to equip one, it's a 9-piece set, and you get the 25% health. Resistance increases, speed gains. You get 3 immutable stacks here, and as you can see, it seems okay. My gut reactions, I think Pinpoint, whatever Crosa had, was probably a bit better than this here. So it's interesting, a combination of HP, speed. However, Resist, I think the problem with Resistance, it's a little bit different compared to other games that use Tenacity, for example. But in this game, you could still pull back Turn Meter. You could still have your cooldowns increase. So if Resistance is able to address that, maybe Resistance be a little bit better. Not saying Resistance is a trash effect. It's just, the Resistance gains don't really scream to me when Armands or Lord Entertainer Fabian can still ruin my day. Okay, let's take a look at all these kits now here. So we talked about all the releases for this. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. But now, are they worth going for? So Michelangelo completely free. Sweet. What we have here, basic ability, if either attack is critical, increase attack. Cool, for 2 turns. Express delivery, cooldown of 4. Attacks on enemies, 75% chance to place decreased defense and stun. Nice. Spreads debuffs and targets all enemies, so nice. Kind of a little bit of what's his face? Mad Hatter, right? But Mad Hatter does it on the basic, right? Let me double check. Let me go fact check. Whoa, Donnie getting a little aggressive with me there. He's like, keep reading the kit. What are you doing here? All right, where is Mad Hatter? Let's check that basic again real quick here. Yes, the chance of stealing 1 random buff. Each hit, yeah. Each hit also has a 75% chance of apply debuff spread effect, taking 1 random debuff from the target and placing it all enemies. So pretty similar, but I'd say Mad Hatters might be a little bit better because it's on a basic ability, right? That's always a lot nicer here. Moving on. Shell Cyclone. It's an AoE attack, 75% chance to place a decreased attack, leech for 2 turns, places taunt for 1 turn as 2 turns as well, ignoring resistance if crit. All right. Then we have Potty Dude. Passive, 15% chance to evade attacks, 30% if taunted. Oh gosh. If you guys don't play Galaxy, it makes me feel like this is almost like an Ezra Bridger Exile, where it's like almost impossible to hit. Yikes. Evasion, It feels good when you're dodging. It doesn't feel good when you're being dodged. And then he also can join TMNT ally attacks. That's a lot of fun. Active, place a shield equal to 300% of attack for 1 turn 1 hit. And it makes sense why we're increasing attack on things like the basics. So this, again, free champion looks like a ton of fun. My only main complaint about these TMNT characters is the fact that they're all for different factions, and the fact that like characters like Donnie, like he should be void, not magic. So those are like my only really main complaints to these guys. But for a free champion, super cool. Man, imagine starting the game, you get Donatello, you get all my free champions, you take advantage of a promo code. Like, man, these are, and you get, did I say Michelangelo too? Those are a lot of great characters to get in your arsenal. And then Donatello, this month's Fragment event, legendary match sport. I think it should have been void. The color mismatch is going to drive me up the wall. Basic ability heals all allies by 5% max HP. Super cool. Instantly activates 1 continuous heal. Yeah, that can go pretty darn well. Shell Shocker. Cooldown of 6, but you could drop it down a little bit. It's an AoE attack, reduces the ally skill cooldowns by 2 turn. Yeah, so almost like a Painkeeper Plus in a way. Places a 30% increased speed for 2 turns. So I'm assuming, let's see, if we get this is the 4th. I always forget in the kit reveals. Is this considering the cooldown reductions from the level 3 to level 4? Is this a 4 turn, 6 turn? I can't remember, but essentially you got to kind of, does this count himself as well? Does he reduce his own cool? I got to actually, let's check the verbiage real quick. Where is, let me take a look at Painkeeper, because Painkeeper, or no, let's see, where's this guy right here? On this ability right here, right? Let's see, decrease the cooldown of all ally skills. I think he counts himself too, right? So you got to keep that in mind, that it's also reducing his cooldowns on top of it. Anyway, cooldown reductions are great. The fact that it's a 2 turns, pretty nifty. Secret of the Doze, 6 turns. Removes all debuffs, cleansing, fantastic. Place 15% continuous heal, 25% strength for 2 turns, fills ally turns by 20%. And then again, look at this, joins TMNT ally attacks. Yeah. So anytime he's calling to assist, remember, he's going to be able to heal all allies by 5% max health. Pretty nice stuff. It's almost in a way, where's my boy Cardiel? Cardi B, we got Cardiel over here. Get on our level. Yeah, you can heal all allies by 7.5% of their max HP. So basically, kind of like that. Then, yeah, you can, that's actually, it goes up, right? Yeah. This is a 15% max HP heal. Oh, that's even better than Cardiel. Holy moly. Did I even upgraded? Yeah, he's upgraded. Yeah, wow. Okay. Anyways, cool stuff that we got going on there. And then we have the I Am Your Bro with the pass ability. So we already read that. Prevents fatal hits. Keeps ally alive with 1 HP. Then equalizes HP across the team. Good stuff. Solid stuff that he has. Now, of course, if you don't have the other TMNT members, this is basically useless. But otherwise, pretty neat stuff. And it has an increased ally HP in all battles by 30%. Cool. And then we have Raphael. He's Barbarians. Luckily, he's a Force champion, so it matches his whole color palette that he's got going on. So here's what we have here. Basic ability, place the block revive if killed. I love block revives. Maybe it's one of my hot takes. I know Sun Wukong, especially early game, is a really good champion. I just, especially maybe just where I'm at in Reach, there's so many ways to stop Sun Wukong from really being annoying. So many block revives. And now we're seeing it on Raphael too. It's a very helpful effect, is all I'm saying. Each crit fills Terminator by 10%. Nicely done. So potentially 20% Terminator gains, yeah. Then we have Seismic Slam. Is that how you spell Seismic? I thought it was S-E-I. Well, whatever. Cooldown of 4. AoE attack. A lot of AoEs going on here. Ignore block shield, block damage if under Berserk. And if not, deal 50% extra damage to shielded enemies. Each crit fills Terminator by 10%. I would have loved that this applies to Stone Skins too. Stone Skin is probably my least favorite effect in Rage. It's just such a cheap effect, man. And then we have Not Today Knucklehead. Cooldown of 4. Attacks one enemy 3 times, each hit ignoring 20% defense. Grants Perfect Veil. Unkillable for 2 turns if target is killed. And if not, places Berserk for 2 turns. Then we have the NYC Breakdown. Joins TMNT ally attacks. Places Berserk when allies die. 20% chance of an extra turn when attacking under Berserk. Nice. So again, more assisting. And remember, he can fill Terminator, block revives. And this is why I want all of them. They all, like, they brought that baked-in synergy, like, kind of like you would expect. Where, again, this is what I love about Raid Shadow Legends. You got a lot of, mix and match theory crafting. But when you have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, if they weren't working with each other, kind of kills some of the magic of having a crossover like this in Raid, right? And then increase ally attacks by 30%. Cool stuff. And then Leonardo. What do we got here? Void defense. So again, he should have been the magic champion. Shadowkin, in my opinion, Lizardmen, Shadowkin are permissible for the TMNT members. I don't know about the other factions, but you know, it is what it is. Basic ability, New York Slice. When attacking enemy once, when counterattacking, repeats on an enemy, a random enemy, ignores 3% of defense per buff on this champ, up to 15%. So yeah, we can maybe be cranking out some good damage, but hold on. Shell, yeah. Cooldown of 5, places 6% increased defense and 50% ally protection on all allies. Places an unkillable and counterattack on Leonardo. Good stuff, cool. Turtles together. Cooldown of 4 turns. Attacks all enemies gain additional effects based on TMNT allies. This almost gives me a bit of a Unity champion vibe, where if you got one turtle, ignore 50% defense per turtle ally. If you have 2 turtles, damage scales with missing HP. 3 of them triggers when ally HP drops below 50%. So if this is one of those characters, like if you're not saying you're getting a lot of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in your roster, you know, that's not going to be as effective, right? Otherwise, you're just going to get an AoE. That's it. And then let's see what we got here. Hero in a half shell. Place a stone skin when HP drops below 50%. Did I just say how annoying stone skin is? This guy literally just bakes it into his kit. Joins attacks with turtle allies. So I love that they're always going to be assisting one another. I'm excited to see all 4 of them in action, just constantly bouncing off one another. It sounds like it's going to be a ton of fun. And then April, legendary magic support. She's going to be a Sacred Order member. She's got a lot of, it's like, man, they all like look so interesting. Where breaking story basic, attacks enemy, 50% chance placing a stun, free, sleep, provoke, fear, true fear, or petrification. So that's a pretty gnarly basic. Then places perfect veil for 4 turns. Neat. Explosive scoop, 4 turn cooldown. Attacks enemy, 75% chance to steal all buffs and turn meter. Oh man. 75% chance to place nullify and seal for 2 turns. And then it's got a passive effect too. 25% chance to activate automatically with enemies gain extra or instant turns. Yeah, that sounds like it could be fun. Live on the scene, cooldown of 5, place a 50% increase accuracy on all allies for 2 turns. Decrease enemy turn by 20%, grants an extra turn. Yeah, this is going to be a pretty interesting support character through and through. And one more, Ace Reporter. Passive, it says, reacts to certain enemy actions by decreasing all enemies turn by 10%. When enemies remove or transfer debuffs, decrease all enemy turn by 25%. Cooldown of 3 turns. So this is a massive penalty for cleansing debuffs. My, oh my. And also, got a nice little speed lead on top of that. So even though she might not be a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, not going to have that cool synergy like with the other turtles, it's on her own. Super interesting support character if you like turn meter control and even like just debuff control on them too. And then we have Shredder. Not going to be mythical, will be a legendary Void HP Shadowkin member. Again, no deets at the present time on how we're going to get our hands on this dude here. We have Rage Asaki, attacks one enemy 3 times. Then the second hit and third hit ignore 5% and 10% of the target's defense. They also deal 10% and 20% more critical damage. Yeah, I think he's going to hit pretty decently. Again, it depends on the base numbers. Then we have Shadow Shinobi, cooldown of 4, attacks on enemies 2 times. Each crit reduces defense by 5%, stack it to 30%, and increases max HP by 5%. Stacks it to 30%. Each hit has a 75% chance of placing a leech debuff. Cannot be resisted if under Veil or Perfect Veil. Yeah. And this is the true ninjutsu. Cooldown of 6. Attacks all enemies. Another one. Steals all buffs from one target before attacking. Cannot be resisted under Veil or Perfect Veil, which is great. You don't have to worry too much about accuracy or anything stupid like that. Feels determined by 15% per buff stolen. Yeah. And then it ignores 50% defense, 30% of under Perfect Veil. Again, on paper, it sounds like he could be hitting hard. You know, it's hard to say without seeing the base numbers and actually seeing gameplay. Then Dimensional Tyrant. Decrease incoming damage by 30%. Split among allies. Ooh, man. So sharing the pain with everybody. And then increases damage dealt by 15% per dead ally. Ooh, man. So if you're leaving him last, big mistake. And active, when losing 20% of his max HP in one hit, he evades the next attack, placing a Perfect Veil for 2 turns, and he has a 50% chance to place a True Fear on all enemies for 1 turn. So if you're trying to blitz him down, you might be paying dearly for all that. So we're going to have to wait and see what this actually looks like in action. Man, all these kits look really darn fun. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, obviously, like I think Raphael, again, unless he's going to be hitting like incredibly hard, it seems like if you're seeing that you're not getting a ton, But I think for a lot of people watching, you're going to get Michelangelo free. I think a lot are going to be getting Donatello. Leonardo could be the troublesome child if you're not going to have a lot of stuff prepared for that Heroes Path or Turtles Path, whatever the event, Swordsmaster Path event. This one could be the problematic one. But otherwise, if you have 2 other ones, you're still going to get a good chunk of Raphael's additional effects that he's got on his kits here. So was it Raphael or was it Leonardo? I'm sorry, Leonardo. Other way around, yeah. So I guess it works out. If you can't get Leonardo, you don't got to worry about how many TMNT members you have because, well, you need more. So that makes Raphael and Leonardo up. But anyways, my friends, I guess it makes sense why people were saving Leonardo more towards the end. You kind of assess, like, how many turtles do I have? I think most will have 2. If you got Raphael, if you don't want Leonardo, are you really playing Raid Shadow Legends? Well, I guess you guys can ask yourself with the link down below. If you haven't been playing Raid Shadow Legends, what are you waiting for? Here's the link down below. Get yourself a free legendary Karada right away. Ugo at level 10. Then, of course, To Go at level 20. Deacon Armstrong at level 40. Amazing stuff being given away. And then again, don't forget about the fact that if you're a new player, you can also try to take advantage of this guaranteed Donatello champion. Don't have to worry about the Fragment summon. And then use one of the promo codes, Demon Slayer, Monkey King. You got so many options. An explosive way of starting your journey in Raid Shadow Legends. Thank you so much for stopping by. Let me know your game plan. A lot that we went over today. Looking forward to upgrading champions, summoning some champions, and more importantly, what I look forward to most every time I get to post a video and I get to hang out with you guys. I love being able to say how it's great to be in the Empire today.